All right, so we're recording. Welcome everyone to our presentations on the Mediterranean diet. I'm going to hand it off to our students from the WISC program who will be leading us today.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Angelica Lascon, and I am a senior student at San Jose State University and the Timpany Center Liaison. And I'm happy to also introduce Zaina. She is a WISC ambassador, and she will soon be our next Timpany Center Liaison for the upcoming semester. So congratulations, Zaina. And lastly, we have Professor Kubota. She's a San Jose State instructor and a registered dietitian who will help us answer any questions you may have. So this semester, we put together a series of nutrition education workshops promoting gut health. And today we have our final presentation discussing the benefits of a Mediterranean diet. So I hope you enjoy this presentation that the nutrition students put together for you. And now I will pass it along to the presenter.
All right, good morning. Thanks for being here. My name is Karina, and I will be presenting alongside my group mates, Jillian and Arodi, on the Mediterranean diet. So next slide, please. So what is the Mediterranean diet? It's essentially a healthy eating plan. And we like to emphasize that even though it is called the Mediterranean diet, it is important to note that it's a lifestyle of eating, and it's not too restrictive. So it allows y'all to have a variety of choices. So we saw a rise in its popularity in the 1950s and 60s when it was noted that heart disease was not as common in Mediterranean countries as it was in the US. There has been numerous studies that have confirmed that the Mediterranean diet helps prevent heart disease and stroke. So simply put, this eating style incorporates plenty of fruits, vegetables, bread, other grains, potatoes, beans, nuts, and seeds, and low to moderate amounts of fish, poultry, dairy, and eggs as well. So it is encouraged to choose fish as your primary animal protein at least twice a week, and dairy such as yogurt and cheese in smaller portions can also be consumed daily or a few times a week as well. Red meat is quite limited in this diet, and it also centers around minimally processed plant-based foods as well. So the Mediterranean diet also provides an emphasis on eating healthy fats. So olive oil is recommended as the primary added fat source of this diet, often used to replace other oils and fats, such as butter and margarine. The addition of other foods that naturally contain healthful fats are encouraged as well, such as avocado and nuts like walnuts. Wine may also be consumed in low to moderate amounts, usually with the meals that you're eating. And fruit is a common dessert instead of sweets. Next slide. So during the early 1900s, there was some incredible health statistics from those who lived in Mediterranean countries like Greece, Crete, and Italy. People in these countries had a lower rate of chronic diseases and a higher than average adult life expectancy, even though there were limited healthcare resources in that time. So people in these areas were also very social when it came to eating their meals. So sitting down together with family and friends meant everyone was able to gather and slow down while they interacted with each other and enjoyed their meals. So eating like this allows us to get more in tune with our bodies and our hunger cues and to eat intuitively. It is believed that the combination of the foods that were being consumed combined with daily physical activity and social meals contributed greatly to the amazing results that people were seeing. So this style of eating can also play a big role in preventing heart disease and stroke and reducing risk factors such as obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. So there is some evidence that a Mediterranean diet rich in virgin olive oil may also help the body remove excess cholesterol from arteries and keep your blood vessels open. Next slide, please. Oh, wait, can you go back one more slide? There we go, thank you. So some statistics for you. A study conducted in Spain showed that a Mediterranean style of eating reduced heart risk disease by 28 to 30%. With such an emphasis on fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats like olive oil, the Mediterranean diet is useful in helping prevent or reducing bad cholesterol or LDL cholesterol, which can build up plaque in your blood vessels and increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. With this, also limiting the red meat in the diet and fried foods helps in lowering cholesterol as well. The combination of regular physical activity and the Mediterranean diet can also encourage weight loss, which helps keep your blood pressure at the right levels, which is great because high blood pressure is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. In regards to brain health, there is something called the MIND diet, which combines the Mediterranean diet that we're discussing and something called the DASH diet to highlight dietary patterns that focus specifically on brain health. The MIND diet aims to reduce dementia and the decline in brain health as we age. So the DASH diet, which also focuses on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and lean meats, similar to the Mediterranean diet. They also promote eating lots of berries because they also have been shown to promote healthy brain function as well. So foods high in antioxidants help improve cognitive function and help reduce stress on our bodies and our cells, especially in the brain. Because of this, it is important to consume antioxidant-rich foods like fruits and vegetables, nuts, and whole grains regularly. So the combined eating habits of this range of diets is helpful in helping our bodies and our minds stay fit and sharp. Next slide.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jillian, and I'll be following up with what Karina was talking about with the Mediterranean diet and its relationship with aging. So aging is something we all go through, and there's an increasing population of older adults in the United States right now. And aging is characterized by various physiological changes that can increase our risk of developing chronic disease. So through the foundations of the Mediterranean diet or eating plan, we can positively or positively impact some of these hallmarks of aging. As you'll see on this slide, these are some of the places that Mediterranean diet impacts when it comes to aging. So for example, Mediterranean diet has been seen to lower inflammation, lower oxidative stress, increase autophagy. And autophagy is a natural process that removes unwanted or dysfunctional products from our body, increase DNA repair, and help regulate insulin signaling, which is related to diabetes. So some of the mechanisms that improve aging include improvements in our gut microbiome, as Karina mentioned, and the cognitive benefits of consuming omega-3 fatty acids, as well as the benefits of eating lean protein in an aging population, which helps maintain physical function and improve muscular health. Next slide, please. So all in all, the components, the individual pieces of the Mediterranean diet, such as olive oil, fish oil, fruits, nuts, seeds, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, even red wine, positively impact the hallmarks of aging, which will then help decrease your risk of developing chronic disease. In fact, one study found that 25% lower risk of developing heart disease in women over the course of 12 years as they maintained this eating plan. And remember, this is an eating plan, so it's meant to be sustainable long-term. Next slide, please. Again, to really hone in on this point, adherence to this diet has been shown to improve both mental and physical aspects of health, especially in older adults. And this is ultimately going to improve your quality of life as you age. Next slide, please. So let's talk about how to build a Mediterranean diet plate. The picture you see here is similar to the My Plate, USDA My Plate, where half your plate is going to be non-starchy vegetables. We really want to aim for colorful vegetables in this half plate. Another quarter of your plate is going to be whole grains or starchy vegetables. And we really want to aim for whole grains and starchy vegetables that have lots of fiber. And then another quarter of the plate is going to be for protein. Ideally, we want lean protein sources. This can include poultry, fish, lentils, legumes, things like that. You'll see on the outside of the plate that we are opting for dessert as fruit rather than cakes and cookies and sweets. And then we're using olive oil as a healthy fat source to perhaps prepare some of the different parts of our plate, like the vegetables and the protein. And then lastly, for drinks, we are drinking water, tea, some wine, and really focusing on reducing sugar content of drinks. And just like Karina mentioned, some dairy options are definitely recommended on the side of your Mediterranean diet plate. And last thing I wanted to emphasize here that's really critical for the aging population is that we know protein requirements increase as we age. And the reason why is because we start to lose lean mass, and we want to stay as physically functional as possible for as long as possible. So really making sure that a quarter of your plate is lean protein, just to make sure you're hitting your protein requirements. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to talk about some of the specific hallmark foods that define this eating plan. I think one of the biggest food groups that we think of when we think of Mediterranean diet is fish. So we want to aim for fatty fish like salmon, tuna, mackerel, herring, sardines. All of these fish have high amounts of omega-3s. And omega-3s not only help fight inflammation, but they also improve cognitive function. And if you are going to opt for red meat, which is recommended to be limited in this diet, we just want to make sure we're picking cuts of meat that are lean. For example, sirloin is a lean cut versus a ribeye. And really, this is to reduce the saturated fat content of your meal. Next slide, please. So fruits and veggies, remember half the plate is going to be vegetables, really building the plate around vegetables. It's recommended that you consume 5 portions of fruit and veggies every single day and really increase the variety of vegetables. So next time you go to the store, look for a different vegetable that perhaps you've never tried before, and really focus on different colors of fruits and vegetables. Next slide, please. Similar to fruits and veggies, there's tons of varieties of legumes and whole grains. These are really important because they have lots of fiber and lots of micronutrients. And again, these components are going to impact the benefits of aging that we discussed earlier. We want to try to increase the variety of these foods, but ultimately, if you're new to using legumes and cooking with legumes and whole grains, find one that you like and continue to try to incorporate that on a daily basis or weekly basis. You can even include legumes and whole grains in soups, salads, with your lean protein and veggies. It could even be used in a breakfast porridge or with Greek yogurt. Next slide, please. Lastly is olive oil, another hallmark of the Mediterranean diet. When we increase our healthy fats, such as monounsaturated fats like olive oil, it's actually been seen that we lower our levels of LDL cholesterol, or the bad cholesterol that increases your risk for heart disease. So trying to replace coconut oil and butter and lard with olive oil is recommended. And by adding olive oil to your meals, it can also increase satiety, because we know that fat makes us feel fuller longer. Some ways to use olive oil include roasting veggies with olive oil, salt, and pepper, using olive oil to saute your vegetables or fish or meat, and then of course dipping bread in olive oil. Next slide.
So hi everyone, my name is Arodi and I'm going to talk about desserts. Next, please. So the Mediterranean diet discourages or limits the intake of sweets, but it promotes the consumption of fruit as dessert. Next, please. The reason why this diet emphasizes eating fruit as dessert instead of eating ice cream, cakes, or any other baked good is because these desserts are high in added sugar, they are high in fat, and are highly processed foods. And this can cause some adverse effects in our bodies, like increases inflammation, increased insulin levels, increased weight gain, increased obesity, and increase the risk of having cavities, and it lowers immunity. Next, please. So on the other hand, eating fruit as dessert offers great benefits to our health because fruits are naturally sweet. They are free from added sugar, free from fat, and fruits are also high in essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals, which are important for our body to function properly. Also, fruits are high in fiber, which helps to slow the breakdown of carbs to control blood sugar levels. Also, fruits are high in phytochemicals, and these are compounds that helps our body to fight inflammation. Next, please. Now I'm going to talk about wine. Next, thank you. So as you can see in this picture, wine is part of the Mediterranean diet. In the Mediterranean cultures, drinking wine with lunch or dinner is very common. Next, please. So red wine has been associated with numerous health benefits, and studies have shown that consumption of red wine is associated with a lower incidence of cardiovascular diseases. And this is because it helps to control hypertension, it reduces artery damage, and it reduces the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. Also, red wine promotes gut health by increasing gut microbiota diversity. It also protects the body against inflammation, and red wine also has an impact on diabetes as well because it lowers blood sugar levels and improves insulin resistance. And all these benefits are obtained from a moderate intake of red wine. Next, please. So what is considered a moderate intake? For women, it is recommended to drink 1 serving per day. For men over 65, they can have 1 serving per day as well. And for men under 65, they can have 2 servings per day. And a serving of wine is considered 5 ounces. Next, please. So as we just saw, red wine consumption has some health benefits, but drinking too much of any type of alcohol can increase health risks, just as heart problems, stroke, fatty liver disease, liver damage, mental health conditions, certain cancers, and pancreatitis. Next, please. So in summary, drinking red wine in moderation may have certain health benefits. However, drinking alcohol is not safe for everyone, and drinking more than a moderate amount can cause serious problems. Thank you.
All right, so as Arodi mentioned, fruit for dessert is highly encouraged. So I was inspired to make a yummy crisp. So here's a little food demo on what I made.
Give me a second, let me reload this page, okay?
Hey y'all, let's make some dessert. For your topping, you will need 2/3 cup flour, 1/3 cup packed brown sugar, 1/2 cup chopped pecans, 1/3 cup of oats, 1/4 cup coconut oil, and 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon. In a separate bowl, you want to combine all of your ingredients for the topping together. So that includes your flour, your packed brown sugar, as well as your pecans. You can use walnuts or other nuts of your choice if you like, your oats, cinnamon, and coconut oil. Here I use my clean hands to incorporate all the ingredients together, but you can use a spoon or spatula if you prefer. Just be careful to get everything nice and incorporated and make sure that there aren't too many lumps after when you're done. Once that's all mixed, we're going to get all of our ingredients ready for the filling. For the filling, we will need about 6 pears cut into 1/4-inch slices, 1/4 cup of honey, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 tablespoon cornstarch, and 1 teaspoon vanilla. In another separate bowl, let's combine all of our ingredients for the filling. We have our chopped pears, our honey. Make sure to get all of that gooiness out of the bowl. We'll also add in our cornstarch to help thicken it up, and our cinnamon and vanilla. Be sure not to use a bowl that is too small for your ingredients like I did, but make sure everything is nice and incorporated. We're going to add 1/3 cup of our topping mixed into the filling, just to give it that extra flavor. Once it's all mixed in, get a pre-greased pan, and we're going to add our delicious filling into the pan. Make sure to get every bit. And here I'm going to take the back of my spoon just to spread everything out nice and evenly. Once everything is nice and even, we are going to take the remaining topping and pour it all over the top. I just use my clean hands once again, and I'm going to press it in ever so gently just to make sure it's nice and even. At this time, my oven has been preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to pop that in for 45 minutes to an hour. And once that's done, you should get a nice bowl of fresh hot pear pecan crisp. If you like, you can add a dollop of your favorite ice cream or some homemade whipped cream. And that's it. You have yourself a lovely, delicious dessert. Enjoy! Hey y'all,
Hi, so I did a roasted delicata squash. This is a really, really simple recipe that you can make fairly quickly and even prep enough for a couple, multiple meals. So like your meal prepping. With this dish or this meal, the skin is actually edible. So you don't have to peel the skin like other squashes. And it's a really nice size. So it's a smaller squash. And to cut it, there's various ways. You can cut off the stem and then cut it down the middle long ways and scoop out all of the seeds. You can also cut it down the middle, not the long way, and you can get rings. So that's another easy way to do that. And you would just use a teaspoon to take out all of the seeds. And once you take out the seeds, you can actually eat those, and you can roast them with olive oil, salt, and pepper, or you could throw some cinnamon on there to make it more of a sweeter treat.
I'm going to share with you a salad recipe that has many fresh Mediterranean veggies that is easy to make, healthy, and super delicious. And this recipe does not have any green leaf, but if you want, you can add some lettuce or spinach or any other green leaf of your choice. Hello everyone, my name is Arodi and I will be sharing with you the Greek salad with avocado recipe. So for this recipe we need 2 English cucumber cut into small pieces, 1 cup of cherry tomatoes cut into halves, and 1 cup of olives cut into halves, and 1/4 of cup of parsley, 1/4 of red onion, and 2 avocados cut into big chunks, and 1 cup of feta cheese. So for the dressing salad, I use extra virgin olive oil, black pepper, garlic, lemon juice, dried oregano, and salt. So now we are going to mix all the ingredients in the bowl. So I'm going to put first the cucumbers, next I'm going to add the tomatoes, the olives, the parsley, and the onions. The avocado and the feta cheese, we're going to add them at the end. Now I'm going to put some of the dressing salad. And mix it. I'm going to add the avocado. Now I'm going to add the cheese. And here is the salad. Thank you.
Here's a quick and easy heart-healthy salmon recipe that I put together for you to enjoy this holiday season. I used honey, balsamic vinaigrette, and lemon for a sweet, tangy, and citrus burst of flavors that pairs perfectly with the Greek salad and delicata squash. Here's a quick honey balsamic salmon recipe. The ingredients you'll need are a skinless or descaled salmon, honey, balsamic vinaigrette, lemon, pine nuts, salt, and pepper. First, pat to dry. Then, slice into 2 pieces or bake as is. Season with salt and pepper. And let it sit as we begin to prepare our glaze. In a bowl, mix in balsamic vinaigrette, lemon zest, and honey. Whisk together. Spread glaze over salmon. Add rosemary, pine nuts, lemon slices, additional pine nuts if desired. Cover with aluminum foil and bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes or without foil for a golden brown coat. Finally, garnish with drippings from the pan and enjoy. I would like to add one thing I forgot to mention in the video. I did descale and rinse the salmon prior to prepping it, and I had the skin side of the salmon facing down on the pan. So this helped it from sticking to the pan. But if you're using a skinless salmon, you can add a sheet of aluminum foil or a layers of sliced lemons to prevent the salmon from directly sticking onto the pan. Thank you. Next slide, please. And that wraps up the end of our presentation. Does the audience have any questions for us?
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Are you going to send us the recipes?
Yes, at the end of the presentation, Professor Cabrera will email out the recipes, and we will have the links to the videos on YouTube as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Awesome. Well, it was an excellent presentation, team. Really well done. It was great to see it go live today. I think we do have one more slide just to include it here about upcoming events. So we're excited to have Zaina coming on as our Timpany Center liaison for the spring. So we'll be holding another session of nutrition related sessions starting probably in early February. So if you have any suggestions for topics or themes that you would like to see covered, feel free to email those to us. Looks like we might, do we have a comment there in the gallery? Yes, Judy.
Yes, I have a question. You recommended on this diet red wine.
Mhm.
Is white wine does not provide the same benefits as red wine?
Does somebody want to take that? Arodi, I think those slides were yours. Are you able
Yes.
to? Yeah.
Yeah, some studies have shown that white wine doesn't have the same effects as the red wine.
So, Arodi, would you say though that it's okay to drink white wine as well? You just might not get the same level of benefits that you get
Yes.
from white wine?
Yes.
I think it's all of the really potent antioxidants and polyphenols that are found specifically in red wine. But white wine also offers benefits. So if you choose to drink white wine, you're probably getting some similar benefits, maybe just not the same level of benefits that you get from white wine. And in general, alcohol consumption, I think the recommendation is red wine as opposed to other forms of alcohol. But I'm the same way in that as I get older, I actually prefer white wine as opposed to red wine. When I was younger, I loved red wine, and I find that red wine often gives me headaches now. So I tend to steer away from red wine. But I've also seen some research into the fact that in the United States, red wine is treated with some sulfates more so than in other countries. So it's possible that it's the American red wines that are causing my headaches. So that's something that certainly we could look into a little bit further. Any other questions? Judy, did any other questions come up for you?
Well, I like my desserts, and so I'm going to try to maybe add a little bit of fruit to my dessert to make it a little bit more healthy.
So I think that's what this style of eating really emphasizes, is rather than being restrictive and forcing people to eat a certain way and to eat a certain number of calories and only to eat certain foods, it's actually about what can you add in that's healthy, right? So being moderate in things like added sugars is certainly going to be helpful, and they advocate for that. And then finding ways that you can add in fruit. Particularly berries are especially helpful because they're loaded in antioxidants and fiber, but any type of fruit and minimally processed, minimally sweetened dessert. So the pear crisp, for example, is a good example of that. It included fruit, it included some whole grains and some nuts, and was lightly sweetened. So it'd be a nice option when you are going for something that's sweet. Yeah. Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, we'll be sure and send out the recipes, the links to the video, and other information from today's session to you, Judy, and we'll have those posted at the Timpany Center for Timpany Center folks who maybe watch this after the fact. And we look forward to seeing everybody next spring when we start our sessions back up. So at this time, I just want to thank Angelica and Zaina in particular for leading these sessions, and all our other students for jumping on and really putting in a lot of effort to make them such a success this semester. So thank you, everyone.
It was very good.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, I'm going to pause our recording.